In the vast and rugged expanse known as the frontier territory, Kazel, a tale of survival begins to unfold. Majestic mountain peaks loom in the background, casting their long shadows over the land. A bustling town lies nestled against the rocky cliffs. Its rooftops and spires reach up as if begging the heavens for mercy amidst the harsh realities below. The sun beats down mercilessly on the land, casting a harsh glow over the parched earth. A severe drought has taken hold, turning the once fertile region into a barren desert. Cracks snake through the dry ground, a testament to the unforgiving drought that has the land in its grip. The air is thick with dust and despair as the town's residents struggle to survive. The heart of the community, the well, stands dry. Villagers, desperate for relief, search for water. Meanwhile, the sun's relentless rays beat down, casting long shadows over the weary people. With the well dry, a man peers down, perhaps hoping for a miracle. His face reflects the strain of hardship, the bright sun illuminating his weary features. The fields around him, once lush, now lie cracked and barren. Sprawling expanses of cracked earth stretch as far as the eye can see, painting a grim picture of the dire situation. Once fertile lands are now reduced to arid wastelands. The carcasses of livestock litter the ground, victims of the drought. A lone crow picks at the remains, a stark reminder of the circle of life and death in this harsh environment. Fear grips the hearts of the people, driving them to flee. With their backs to the wall, the villagers gather their belongings, determined to escape the grasp of the unforgiving drought. Margrave Kazel, the ruler of this territory, sees the exodus as an affront to his authority. He considers their flight a grave offense, one that cannot go unpunished. As night falls, the air thick with tension, soldiers stand ready. Clad in armor, they prepare to enforce the will of Margrave Kazel, their presence a looming threat over the villagers. A sudden and ominous energy fills the air, marked by strife. The title page introduces us to the mysterious and thrilling world of Night of the Soulless Heathers. We're about to embark on an epic journey where danger lurks at every corner. The scene erupts into chaos with a thunderous crack as battle-hardened warriors clash amidst a fiery backdrop. The intensity is palpable, and you can almost feel the heat of the battle. Amidst the whirlwind of swords and cries, a lone warrior makes his move, cutting through the chaos with deadly precision. The battlefield is painted red, and the stakes are higher than ever. Two figures lay amidst the rubble, their faces etched with despair and exhaustion. The battle has taken its toll, and the weight of defeat hangs heavy in the air. A lone foot hits the ground with a determined thud, racing across the battlefield. In the midst of chaos, someone is still fighting, refusing to give up. A piercing scream shatters the air as a knight looms ominously in the background. The tension is thick, and the danger feels all too real. Another desperate cry rings out as a young warrior struggles to escape the clutches of doom. The darkness closes in, threatening to swallow him whole. Amidst the gloom, a figure rises, battered but unbroken. Desperation fuels his every move as he cries out for salvation, hoping someone, anyone, will hear. A fierce warrior emerges, sword raised high, ready to strike. The battlefield is his domain, and he rules it with an iron fist. Blood splatters across the scene, a stark reminder of the brutality of war. The battlefield is unforgiving, and survival is never guaranteed. The focus shifts to the enigmatic leader of the charge, whose identity remains a mystery. The battlefield is a stage, and the scene opens with a silver-haired figure standing ominously in a forest, saying, "Even beasts know favors must be repaid," suggesting a lesson in gratitude is about to be enforced. The air is tense as the mysterious figure, flanked by armored soldiers, questions a trembling woman. "Vermin know why you're still alive," hinting at some dark mercy bestowed upon her. The atmosphere is charged with arrogance as the figure claims their survival is due to the grace of those with divine blood, a not-so-subtle reminder of his superiority. Desperation fills the air as the woman clings to her child amidst a backdrop of despair, pleading for their lives with tear-streaked cheeks. Her cries are met with cold indifference as she begs for mercy, only to be silenced by a ruthless "shut it" from the soldiers. In a brutal display of power, the soldier's sword cuts through the air, silencing the woman's plea and ending her life, leaving her child in horror. The scene opens with an intense thud as a body crashes to the ground, leaving a chilling atmosphere in its wake. A young man, clearly startled, finds himself on the ground, staring at the lifeless figure before him. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure with long silver hair stands nearby, exuding an air of authority. The silver-haired figure's back is shown, adorned in a uniform with intricate details, suggesting a role of importance. A masked character, with an air of impatience, chides the group for being thoughtless, finding no amusement in their actions. An apologetic figure, dressed in a formal military uniform, bows and humbly apologizes to the young master, acknowledging their ignorance. A man with piercing eyes and purple hair leans forward, asking how they can further entertain the young master, his sinister grin hinting at darker undertones. The atmosphere turns tense as the man's grin suggests a brewing storm of emotions and intentions. A blinding flash of white interrupts the scene, creating a moment of suspense before revealing a broader landscape. The scene expands to reveal a desolate landscape with a group of soldiers standing at attention, witnessing the unfolding drama. A battered man standing amidst the chaos declares with conviction, "Yes, this is it," signaling a turning point. In an emotional moment, a woman clings to a man, reinforcing familial bonds, as another person in the background also seeks support. The same woman emphasizes the strength found in family, proclaiming, "And the wife supports the husband," while urgency breaks through as someone calls out to the young master. The young master, with a confident smirk, surveys the scene, seemingly unfazed by the chaos surrounding him as the tension in the air continues to build. The scene opens with a knight, decked out in full medieval gear, standing over a wounded man. "This man has been stabbed," he says nonchalantly, suggesting they tie a rope around his waist. Clearly, compassion isn't his strong suit. "Hell die before entertaining us otherwise," he adds, like he's discussing the weather. Our eyes then fall on a blonde woman kneeling beside the stabbed man with a look of anguish on her face. She's not having any of this knight's nonsense, but there's not much she can do. The stabbed guy is bleeding all over the place, and things are looking grim. The knight isn't done yet, though. He questions whether the stabbed man shouldn't last as long as the others. It's clear this isn't their first rodeo. But before we can ponder on who the others are, the woman lets out a shaky "no." Her voice cracks, a mix of fear and determination. Suddenly, the tension snaps like a rubber band as the woman screams, "No, stop!" Her desperation echoes in the air, but the knight doesn't seem fazed. He moves in, grabbing her with a roughness that sends a chill down the spine. The woman isn't backing down, though. She shouts, "Fuck off already," with a fire in her eyes. But the knight isn't having any of it. He strikes her, and the sound echoes like a thunderclap. The woman's head snaps back, her face a mask of shock and pain. She lets out an ugh as she reels from the blow, her world spinning. Tears spill from her eyes, each drop a testament to her heartache and helplessness. It's a gut-wrenching sight, and you can't help but feel for her. Amidst the chaos, the scene shifts to the sky, where birds soar freely. It's a stark contrast to the turmoil below, a reminder of the freedom that seems so far out of reach for the characters tangled in this mess. The focus returns to the stabbed man Jean, looking worse for wear. His face is battered, eyes half-lidded, like he's barely holding on. The rope around his neck is a grim reminder of his precarious situation. A close-up of the rope around Jean's neck stains. The scene opens with a burst of laughter, echoing across a cracked and barren landscape. A man in a refined blue outfit stands confidently, surrounded by armored guards, as he mocks the grim situation unfolding before him. The scene shifts to a somber image of a woman clinging desperately to the legs of a man bound and hanging from a tree. The air is heavy with tension and the woman's silent plea for mercy. Amidst the chilling atmosphere, the hanging man, bruised and battered, manages to utter a sardonic compliment. Magnificent, truly. His defiance is palpable, even as he faces his grim fate. The woman, overwhelmed by despair, clutches the hanging man's legs even tighter, her resolve unwavering despite the dire circumstances. Her efforts do not go unnoticed. The man in blue, with an air of superiority, acknowledges her determination with a condescending remark. "You are doing well, peasant girl." Continuing his condescending tirade, the man in blue orders her to support him nicely. Got that? His words dripping with mockery and menace. With a sinister pause, the man in blue adds, "Without you," leaving the chilling threat hanging in the air. The tension reaches a peak as the man in blue leans in, whispering into the woman's ear, his words a venomous promise of doom. Your beloved's veins will explode and he will die. The threat is as cruel as it is clear, leaving no room for misunderstanding. The woman remains resolute, clutching the hanging man with determination, even as the man in blue towers over them, a picture of malice and authority. Her defiance seems to amuse him, as he warns her again, "Please do not treat the blood of divine kings so lightly." His voice a mix of arrogance and disdain. Yet something unexpected catches his attention, causing him to utter a perplexed "huh" as his gaze shifts to the horizon. A new figure, cloaked in aha, look who it is. If it isn't Sir Zebeck, decked out in his sharp armor and flowing blue cape, stands firm, his presence as imposing as ever. The scene shifts to the ground, where the feet of two individuals face each other, setting the stage for a tense encounter. My sword instructor. A close-up of two faces, locked in a stare-off, the tension palpable. One of them flashes a toothy grin, adding to the intensity. Is there any need to go this far when punishing people? A noble that has inherited the blood of a divine king should at least maintain their dignity. The noble, with their face partially obscured, seems to be contemplating the situation, possibly calculating their next move. Won't my dignity remain intact as long as word of what happens here doesn't escape? A sly smile creeps across the noble's face, their silver hair cascading down their shoulders, as they seem unfazed by the situation. These fools dared to tarnish my dignity just because it hasn't rained in a little while. That is why they're in that state. So then, what will you do? Will you spread word of what I've done, Sir Zebeck? Sir Zebeck and the noble face each other, the air thick with unresolved tension. Will you, a holy knight acknowledged by the king's church, dare to besmirch the dignity of one who bears said noble blood? Zebeck's gaze shifts slightly, his expression unreadable, yet his eyes speak volumes. The scene opens with an ominous declaration. I simply meant to say that the truth cannot be hidden forever. The sky is bright, but the mood is anything but. A mysterious character, with a blurred face, dressed in elegant, intricate blue attire, stands under a tree next to someone with broad shoulders, possibly a guard or companion, draped in a dark cloak. The air is thick with tension as the blurred-faced character seems to be contemplating action. Shall we take care of him? They ask, hinting at a sinister plan. Another character, perhaps a soldier or a servant, leans in close, whispering urgently into the ear of the blurred-faced character, their helmet partially obscuring their anxious expression. With a dismissive wave of hand, the blurred-faced character decides, forget it, just get me a whip. Clearly, they're not in the mood for subtlety today. As ordered, a whip is passed into the waiting hand of the blurred-faced character, the leather strap taut and ready for whatever purpose it might serve. The scene shifts as the whip cracks through the air with a ferocious red streak, landing on someone who looks absolutely terrified. The impact is intense. A close-up reveals the aftermath of the whip strike, as another figure looks on with wide, shocked eyes, adding to the chaotic intensity. Blood splatters dramatically as a loud cry echoes, the air thick with the sound of pain and fear. From behind, a character stands silhouetted against a red background, their posture radiating a mix of anger and power as the chaos unfolds. Breathing heavily, the scene seems to take a momentary pause, allowing the tension to simmer in the air. The blurred-faced character, now clearly visible with long silver hair and dressed in a regal blue and silver outfit, stands amidst the aftermath, contemplating with a ha, as if considering the consequences of their actions. With the whip still in hand, the character looks down, seemingly unrepentant, their presence imposing as they stand amidst the fallen. A shadowy figure with a devilish grin and glowing red eyes, wearing a black mask and a stylish robe, stands amidst the chaos, seemingly amused by the scene before him. His partner, an equally enigmatic figure draped in a dark cloak, joins him, both of them gazing at a sight that's truly something to behold. The scene unfolds further to reveal the grim sight of bodies hanging from a tree, casting long shadows in the fading light. The two figures stand side by side, the masked one chuckling at the spectacle while urging his companion to find some joy in their grim reality. The night is thick with tension as a pair of feet hang precariously above the ground. The dim light casts eerie shadows, setting the stage for a heart-wrenching moment. A voice breaks the silence, calling out Sophia. It's a plea, a whisper heavy with regret and urgency. The scene reveals a woman clinging desperately to a man bound to a tree. Her grip is tight, as if holding on to the last threads of hope. His voice trembles as he admits, "I was wrong. Please, run." It's a desperate plea, urging her to escape the impending danger. His face is obscured, but the desperation in his posture speaks volumes. The weight of his words hangs in the air like a haunting melody. Sophia's eyes are closed, her face pressed against him as if drawing strength from his very presence. Her resolve is palpable, even in silence. The fabric of their clothing is torn and weathered, mirroring the turmoil in their hearts. It's a silent testament to the battles they've faced. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows, Sophia holds on to him, refusing to let go. It's a poignant scene of love and despair. "Effin," she whispers, her voice a mix of fear and hope, questioning if the Emperor's heralds will truly come. A hand clutching a coin adds a layer of mystery. The token, glinting in the fading light, holds secrets untold. Her face remains obscured, yet her determination is unwavering, a silent vow echoing in her heart. Will they really come? She wonders aloud, her voice a fragile thread weaving through the tension-filled air. Her foot, firmly planted on the cracked earth, signifies her resolve to stand her ground, come what may. Her eyes, closed in contemplation, reflect the storm of emotions swirling within her, a quiet strength anchoring her in the chaos. The scene opens with a wide shot of the starry night sky, setting a tranquil yet suspenseful tone. The camera pans down to reveal more of the night, with bare tree branches outlined against the starlit background, adding a touch of eerie beauty. A mysterious figure lies on the ground, their long hair scattered around them like a halo of mystery. The cracked floor hints at past struggles, setting a somber tone. A gloved hand clenches tightly as if grasping the remnants of a fading dream, or perhaps a lingering sense of resolve. Leaning nonchalantly against a tree, a knightly figure with a sword and a cloak takes in the scene, the sky a canvas of stars above him. The figure on the ground remains motionless, the wind whispering secrets as it caresses their hair, while the knight stands vigilant. Though blurred, the knight's gaze is steady, directed towards the horizon, lost in thought, or perhaps strategizing the next move. The air is thick with tension as the command, "Wake up," breaks the silence, urging the sleeping figure back to consciousness. Slowly, the figure on the ground stirs, revealing a face marked by dirt and determination, eyes opening to face the stark reality. A voice admits to being there in secret, fearing punishment should the young master discover their presence, hinting at hidden alliances. The knight, partially obscured, seems to be pondering the situation, his hand gripping his cloak as if seeking solace. A blurred conversation hangs in the air, touching upon a delicate subject, a fiancé whose fate is uncertain. In a shadowy, ominous setting, another figure is bound against a tree, their situation fraught with peril, and the scene opens with a rugged man, his face a canvas of blood and dirt, lost in his thoughts, while a woman with wide, freckled eyes looks on, perhaps in fear or anticipation. The silence is shattered by the sound of something metallic clanging against the ground, followed by a blurred figure making a dramatic entrance, exuding authority. The scene shifts outdoors, where a man, tied and hanging from a tree, has a woman clinging to his leg, adding to the tension. A voice demands the man's name, promising to ask the Herald Clan for mercy, while the woman stands defiant, her eyes burning with determination. The mention of the Herald Clan as slayers of sanctity or soulless heretics brings a mix of fear and disdain, questioning the decision to contract them. The scene ends with the man and woman standing together under the eerie shadow of a barren tree, the tension thick in the air. Amidst a blurred visage, we find ourselves in a world filled with mystery and doubt. Do these elusive beings truly exist? And if they do, what chaos might they bring with them? In the shadows, Kazel commands a group of 20 well-armed soldiers with a certain air of authority. But who is this myself he refers to? A revelation unfolds about the young master of blue blood, a lineage so prestigious it's almost like winning the genetic lottery. The divine blood of Yagas is whispered about with awe and fear. It's like having a VIP pass to the magic world, but with a lot more baggage. A character with a serious look warns about the Herald Clan, a group that has earned the nickname Slayers of Sanctity. Apparently, they don't play around. The infamous title Slayers of Sanctity wasn't just handed out like candy, it was earned by taking down kings with divine blood. Talk about a reputation. Someone's clearly rattled, and who can blame them? Facing the Herald Clan would make anyone. I am Zebeck, a holy knight of the King's Church. The scene opens with Zebeck introducing himself under a clear blue sky, setting the stage for his valorous character. Clad in shimmering armor, Zebeck stands firm, his hand poised with determination. His attire speaks volumes of his readiness for the battles he faces. I'm not telling you my name to beg the Slayers of Sanctity for my life. Zebeck's voice echoes his unwavering resolve, making it clear he isn't about to grovel. The mysterious woman, hidden in shadows, listens intently. Her long blonde hair cascades down, adding an air of intrigue to her character. With a fierce gaze, Zebeck's eyes are filled with a fiery determination, his expression mirroring his inner strength and readiness. His armored fist clenches tightly, the metallic sound resonating with his promise of defiance against the looming threat. If they come, I will fight them with everything I have. Zebeck's words hang in the air, a solemn vow of his unyielding spirit. A barren tree stands against the bright sky, almost as if nature itself is holding its breath in anticipation of the coming storm. The woman stands, her gaze skyward, her surroundings fading into a dreamlike state, her thoughts a mystery yet to be unraveled. Zebeck walks away, his cape billowing with the wind, leaving behind the woman who watches him go, her thoughts unreadable. 2 days. The woman's whisper is almost lost to the wind, her eyes fixated on an unseen future. The ground bears the imprint of a triangle, a silent witness to the events that are set to unfold. Just 2 days. Her voice. The scene begins with the sun shining brightly in a clear blue sky, setting the tone for a peaceful and serene day. The tranquility continues as we see a scenic landscape with a quaint cottage and fluffy sheep grazing lazily under the bright sun. As the camera pans down, we see a field of beautiful daisies, their white petals dancing gently in the breeze. It's the perfect spot for a heartfelt conversation. Suddenly, a hand enters the frame, holding a mysterious, ornate coin. The hand belongs to a man who offers it as a gift to someone named Safia. The scene transitions to a different setting, with sunlight filtering through leaves, creating dappled patterns on the ground. Safia and the man are sitting under a large tree, surrounded by nature. Safia curiously asks, "What's this?" as she examines the coin closely. The man turns to Safia, asking if she's ever heard of the Herald Clan, hinting at the significance of the coin. A playful smile appears on the man's face as he engages Safia in conversation, clearly intrigued by the topic at hand. Safia's eyes widen, and her freckles seem to pop with surprise. She looks thoughtful, recalling something from her past. The scene shifts into a mysterious, dark ambience, with swirling patterns hinting at something ancient and mystical. The focus moves to a richly detailed robe, adorned with intricate designs, suggesting a connection to the Herald Clan. The narrative takes a nostalgic turn as Safia remembers a story her father told her in her youth, which mentioned the Herald Clan. In a realm of stars and mysteries, a group of celestial knights, draped in green, are seen raising their crowns towards a radiant sun. This cosmic congregation seems like they're part of a divine worship, entranced by the golden glow that envelops them. Continuing the spacey vibes, these emerald warriors, with their intricate crowns, are lined up, each reflecting a sense of duty and reverence. The celestial sun casts its divine light upon them, as if granting them cosmic blessings for an unknown mission. Oh my gosh, our story kicks off with some playful banter between a girl and a guy. The girl, with her lovely long, wavy hair and those unmistakable freckles, seems surprised by what the guy is up to. Our mystery man, with a cheeky grin, seems to be plotting something sneaky. He's got this cool, calm vibe, but you know he's up to no good. Wait, what's this? Our freckled heroine is questioning the guy's choice of gifts. "Why are you giving me such a dangerous thing as a gift?" she asks, with a look that's part curious, part, "Are you serious right now?" The mystery deepens. With the sun casting dappled shadows, she holds up a glowing gold coin, inspecting it with a hint of skepticism. This isn't your average birthday present, folks. It's got that magical aura that screams plot device. Our guy, with his face half in shadow, drops the bombshell. "I'm giving it to you just in case." Just in case of what, you ask? The plot thickens, and we're all ears. The scene shifts as they stand together under a tree, the sun setting behind them. He continues with a solemn tone. If something were to happen to us, well, that's not ominous at all, right? Now, we're diving into the mystical realm. It's said that if you draw a triangle on the ground and place the gold coin in the middle, something magical happens. Ancient secrets are being revealed. Boom! The triangle is drawn and the coin is placed. Sparks fly as magic crackles in the air. This is some wizard-level stuff happening right here. With a flash, the triangle lights up like a Christmas tree. Whatever this coin does, it sure knows how to make an entrance. And here's the kicker. A herald will come and help you. That's right, folks. Call now and get your very own mystical helper free with every gold coin purchase. The guy's voice echoes in the glow, although in the eerie embrace of dusk, a woman stands before a haunting sight, a man hanging from a tree. Her face is a mask of determination, but her eyes reveal a storm of emotions battling within. As the scene shifts, the woman's feet are planted firmly on the ground, her dress billowing around her like a cloak of sorrow. She holds the lifeless legs with an iron grip, as if trying to anchor herself to hope. Her voice breaks through the silence. 2 days, just 2 days. The weight of her words hangs heavily in the air, as if each syllable carries a lifetime of regret and longing. A close-up reveals her face, etched with lines of grief, determination, and a hint of defiance. Her gaze is unyielding, even as her body trembles with the effort to hold on. The man remains suspended, a silent specter in the dappled sunlight. Her words, just today, seem to echo in the empty space between them, hanging like the man himself. With a hopeful glance towards the sky, the woman whispers, "If I hold on." The sun shines bright, casting long shadows and promising another dawn. The sky blurs, as if time itself is rushing by, leaving only the stark silhouette of the tree branches reaching for the heavens. Darkness descends, enveloping the scene in a somber shroud. The woman lies motionless on the cracked earth, her dress fanned out like a wilted flower. A soft light caresses her face, revealing a serene expression. Her eyes, open and unseeing, reflect the last vestiges of sunlight. The scene closes with her hair, golden strands mingling with the dust of the earth, an eternal reminder of a fleeting moment. Title: Night of the Soulless Heathens, Chapter 2 looms, promising more of this haunting tale. A new day dawns, the sky painted with the gentle hues of morning. A sense of the sun is shining brightly on a quaint, rustic scene. The sky is a perfect blue, and the air feels warm, perhaps a hint of what's to come. A wooden structure stands in the foreground, with leafless trees framing the scene. It's quiet, almost too quiet, as if the world is holding its breath. Suddenly, the serenity is broken by the sound of splashing water. A muscular man, seemingly unfazed by the heat, pours cold water over himself while his friends enjoy the refreshing moment. In the distance, a lone figure with a cloak stands with their back to us, gazing at the sun. The scene feels both peaceful and tense, as if this figure is contemplating something serious. The heat is intense, and a voice is heard. "Today is unusually hot." This simple statement seems to carry more weight than just the weather. A blonde-haired man in a cloak is approached by someone addressing him politely. "Excuse me, sir. Who is he, and what's on his mind under this scorching sun?" The man with blonde hair and sharp eyes turns to face the voice, his expression unreadable but clearly focused on something important. A sharply dressed man with an air of authority suggests to the blonde man, "Smile! Isn't this fun?" His words seem to drip with sarcasm. The tension between the two is palpable, as the blonde man listens intently, perhaps not sharing the same fun sentiment. The sharply dressed man continues, with a smirk, "If we kill the citizens, then we can't collect the taxes." A chilling statement that shows the dark undercurrent of their conversation. As the conversation unfolds, the sharply dressed man mentions, "The wanderers who are dissatisfied are moving about, while the amount of theft increases." His words reveal a world on edge, with unrest bubbling beneath the surface. The sharply dressed man stands confidently, his hand resting on a table, as if to emphasize his control over the situation. A woman is seen behind him, perhaps a silent witness to this unfolding drama. In the Margrave's territory, there is rich soil, yet the people there need evacuating. It raises the question of why children born on such fertile ground must suffer due to the actions of others. A heated discussion ensues about the people who ruin the agriculture and then run away. It's all about skill versus environmental factors like the soil, climate, and divine influences. The debate touches on teachings from the king and the church, as a silver-haired character seems to challenge these beliefs with a smirk. The scene becomes tense with the suggestion of a drought caused by lack of faith towards the king's church. The conversation continues with one character questioning whether the doctrines truly align with the actions and consequences faced by the people. The blame game seems a shadowy figure with long silver hair smirks, pondering over something. A broad interpretation, perhaps. The kind where you know there's some juicy drama brewing underneath. Elsewhere, two knights, looking as if they've walked straight out of a medieval cosplay, are having a secret powwow. They're whispering about someone making the soil rich, like Mother Nature's got a sugar daddy. Then, in a twist, another figure is blamed for bringing the drought. It's like they're discussing a twisted nature conspiracy theory. The knights, clearly brainstorming, like it's a board meeting, propose to punish the sinners and reward those who made the soil fertile. Sounds like a medieval version of carrot and stick, huh? Meanwhile, another voice, filled with determination, asserts that these actions are all for saving the people, a noble cause in this tangled web of soil and drought drama. The scene shifts to two figures, one with a blurred face, standing side by side. They look like they're up to some serious business, possibly plotting or just having a good old heart-to-heart. The silver-haired figure, now clearer, seems to be throwing down a gauntlet. If someone wants to defy orders to save others, they're given the green light, because why not stir the pot a bit more? With a sly grin, this mysterious character dares the challenger to give it their best shot. It's like a pep talk, but with a dash of mischief. The challenge hangs in the air, the words, "Give it your best shot," floating ominously, like a cliffhanger in a soap opera. The two figures continue to stand together, gazing outwards, perhaps contemplating the weight of the sun sets dramatically, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. A mysterious figure with silver hair stands with his back to us, cloaked in mystery and a dark cape. The air is thick with suspense, as if the very fabric of the universe is holding its breath. The scene shifts to a deserted village, the remnants of what once was. The wind whispers through the tattered flags, and the silence is almost deafening. Amidst this ghostly setting, a lone figure is sprawled out by a well, motionless. Amidst the chaos, a lone figure stands against the backdrop of a fiery sunset. His face is obscured, but his presence is undeniable, like a hero from a legend. His cloak flutters dramatically in the wind, and his golden hair catches the dying light. The camera zooms in on the mysterious figure, revealing more of his majestic attire, yet his face remains hidden. The air is electric with anticipation as he surveys the bleak landscape. As the sun sets, casting long shadows across the land, the mysterious figure stands tall, his grip firm on the hilt of his sword. The atmosphere is tense, filled with unspoken promises and potential vengeance. In the end, as the sun sets over the jagged mountain peaks, casting long shadows across the barren landscape, a sense of finality and introspection fills the air. Underneath the twisted branches of a leafless tree, two figures stand, one in shadow and another kneeling, burdened by an overwhelming weight, whispering, "I couldn't endure it." The ground is cracked and dry, and on it lies a lifeless figure, as if the earth itself has given up its fight, complementing the despairing words echoing in the air. As he said, "It's useless, even if the heralds come now," a voice declares, as a lifeless body hangs from the tree, casting a long shadow over the scene. Another figure lays face down on the ground, golden hair splayed out like a halo, a silent testament to whatever tragedy has unfolded here. As the sun continues its descent, painting the sky with hues of red and orange, a lone figure stands with a billowing cloak, watching the scene with an air of grim determination. A sharp motion slices through the tense atmosphere, leaving nothing but the sound of the wind to fill the void. Eyes, sharp and focused, pierce through the shadows with intensity, as if assessing the situation with a calculated gaze. Against the fading light, a new figure emerges, weapon in hand, casting a silhouette that speaks of authority and imminent action. The scene shifts back to the hanging body, a grim reminder of the stakes at play, as the sun dips lower, casting longer shadows. Despite the blurred face, the voice is clear and chilling. It'll cut you down. Picture this, a desolate landscape, the kind of place where you'd expect to find a tumbleweed rolling by. Suddenly, a figure starts swinging a sword with such finesse, it's almost as if he's been possessed by a ghost. His technique is as smooth as butter on a hot pancake. Our scene continues with a curious question hanging in the air, like a suspenseful cliffhanger. Are you a herald? For real? The tension is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. With a shadowy silhouette, the response comes, I am. Are you a knight or a rescuer? It's like a medieval version of a spy movie, and everyone's got secrets. As the dust settles, a name is thrown into the mix, Zebeck, from the King's Church. Swords gleam in the fading light, and you can almost hear the dramatic background music. An uncertain escapes, leaving us all wondering what twist is coming next. It's the kind of pause that makes you hold your breath. A sly smile peeks through the shadows, and a confession follows. I was asking just in case, but the plot thickens. A question lingers. Not a contractor, are you? The sunset paints a dramatic backdrop, making it feel like an epic showdown is just around the corner. The mysterious figure continues with a hint of intrigue. If a holy knight of the King's Church was to petition a contract, that would be quite an interesting sight. The stakes are getting higher. Things are getting heated as a voice cries out, Are you trying to humiliate me? It's the kind of challenge that makes you lean in closer. A close-up of a determined face, the air crackling with tension. You can practically hear the gears turning in their minds as they stare each other down. A thoughtful, breaks the silence, hinting at a deeper contemplation. It's a moment where anything could happen. The scene closes with a focus on a figure, the suspense hanging in the air like a well-kept secret. What will happen next in this tale of mystery and confrontation? The scene opens with a character lying on the ground, musing about a girl being their contractor. Quite the bombshell drop, right? The plot thickens as they casually mention that the girl is already dead, which somehow translates into them gaining a free gold coin. Talk about finding treasure in the strangest places. Elsewhere, two characters stand against a dramatic sunset backdrop, one of them anxiously asking for some clarity on the unfolding chaos. Can someone hand them a script, please? Cut to a close-up where one character, in a classic standoff mood, demands the other to sheathe their sword and back off. In return, they promise to spill the tea on what's going down. An intense gaze is shared, with a close-up of a character sporting a confident smirk. You can almost hear the dun-dun-dun in the background. The atmosphere crackles with energy as mysterious symbols and a surge of power start to manifest. Looks like someone's about to unleash their inner anime protagonist. Energy bursts forth, and the scene is a whirlwind of motion and light. It's like a rave, but with a lot more danger. There's a blur of motion and energy, making it hard to see what's happening. Blink, and you might miss it. A new character emerges from the shadows, their hair wild and white. They're shrouded in swirling darkness, definitely not your everyday Joe. The tension is palpable as the scene focuses on an armored figure, ready to throw down or maybe just pose dramatically for effect. A character with blurred features appears, raising the stakes and questions. Is this the phantom everyone's been whispering about? Another character seems to be pondering the same question, wondering if the mysterious new arrival is indeed a phantom. Cue the spooky music. The narration wraps up with a smug acknowledgement of the other's confidence, hinting that things might have gone differently without an ambush. All's fair in love and phantom warfare, I guess. Under the fiery hues of the setting sun, a mysterious figure stands, gripping a sword like he means business. His attire is rugged, and with the sunset behind him, this guy looks like he's about to make a significant move. A speech bubble pops up, calling out a holy knight from the King's Church. Whoever's speaking clearly thinks this knight needs to man up a bit. Now, we get a glimpse of our mystery man. With arrows on his back and determination in his eyes, he's dressed in a mix of armor and leather. He looks like someone you don't want to mess with. The scene shifts slightly to focus on his gear, reinforcing the vibe that he's ready for action, no matter what. The final image hints at credits or a chapter page with some text that might be important for context. A lone figure, cloaked in the shadows of a towering tree, poses a simple yet loaded question. Are you a mage? Against the backdrop of a stunning sunset. The air is thick with tension as the question hangs, waiting for an answer. The camera pans to reveal a warrior standing resolutely on the cracked earth, his back to us. The sunset casts long shadows and dust swirls around him, adding to the mysterious atmosphere. This dude is clearly no stranger to battles. The conversation continues with the warrior admitting that everyone in his clan, the Herald Clan, is a mage. But here's the kicker. He ain't one of them. Talk about standing out in the crowd. A closer shot reveals the face of the inquirer, their eyes sharp and inquisitive as they process this info, pondering if what they witnessed was actually magic. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The inquirer, now visible from behind, tries to wrap their head around the nature of power versus magic. They note how tough it is to tell superhuman-like strength apart from magic. It's like trying to differentiate between a really good magic trick and actual sorcery. Our warrior friend, still processing the earlier question, is internally screaming, "I don't understand what he's saying." Meanwhile, the inquirer presses on, asking for more details about his name and rank. With a bit of sass, the inquirer pushes further, questioning the warrior's rank within the herald ranks. The sunset continues to paint the sky with fiery colors, intensifying the mood. The warrior, maintaining his stoic silence, seems to contemplate his response. His quiver full of arrows might suggest he's more of a hands-on type than a talker. Finally, the warrior speaks up, introducing himself as Zebeck from the king's church. He seems slightly flustered, realizing he might have shared this before. Oops? Zebeck's embarrassment is met with the inquirer's calm acknowledgement. No harm, no foul, they seem to say, as Zebeck quickly regains his composure. With a dramatic flair, the inquirer introduces himself as Azadin of the 108 Spirits, the Emperor's Herald. The name drop is as flashy as the sunset behind them. Azadin's posture is relaxed but confident as he casually adjusts his armor. The conversation has revealed much, but there's an unspoken understanding that there's more to this meeting than meets the eye. The scene opens with a mysterious figure, head blurred, sipping something. We get hit with some serious lore. The 108 Spirits hold the lowest rank in the Herald Clan. But don't underestimate them, folks, because there is more to them than meets the eye. As the suspense builds, it turns out that one of these spirits displayed some wild moves, proving they're anything but ordinary. Someone is holding up a promise, and you know things are about to get interesting. Enter the mysterious archer with his face obscured, looking all ready to unleash some epicness. The sun sets dramatically behind him. This dude's presence screams, "I'm here for the action." Amidst the fiery sunset, someone impatiently demands to know what happened. You can practically feel the tension in the air. The title card drops, Knight of the Soulless Heathens. It's like the calm before the storm, promising intrigue and chaos. Hold on to your seats, it's about to go down. A countdown with an ominous 3 looms against the darkening sky, with feathers floating around. It's like the universe is holding its breath for something big. The camera pans over a desolate, cracked landscape, hinting at past devastation. It's a town that has seen better days, man. The view shifts to a medieval-looking town, bustling despite the ominous skies. Towers and rooftops spread out below, and you just know there's a story hiding in those shadows. 2 cloaked figures stand at the town's edge, looking like they're about to embark on a legendary quest. Their backs are to us, but their postures scream determination. Finally, the 2 figures are facing us. The one with the blonde hair speaks, filling in gaps with the every stunned. So that's what happened. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. A golden feather floats down, signifying a momentous occasion. The contract has been established, and you can almost hear the epic music. The scene opens with a stunning view of the sky at sunset, as a mighty bird spreads its wings and flies over the thorny branches below. The scene is painted in shades of orange and gold, setting a warm yet mysterious tone. The bird, with a whoosh, descends upon its target, its talons ready to snatch. What's its target? Only time will tell. Ah, the plot thickens. A voice fills the air, dropping a bombshell. You responded to the request, but the requester died. Talk about a mood changer. A talking owl sits on a cloaked figure's shoulder, breaking the silence. It seems you have earned some free gold coins. Azadine of 108 Spirits, the owl says, as if discussing the weather. Someone's having a hard time wrapping their head around the situation. A talking owl, they mutter, trying to process the bizarre spectacle. Without skipping a beat, the owl urges action, instructing Azadine of 108 spirits to move on to the next mission without delay. This owl's got no chill. The owl, with a gaze that could pierce through steel, seems to be the brains of this operation, watching over everything with its intense, glowing eyes. Amidst the tense atmosphere, someone tries to break the ice with a simple tsek, while another figure, cloaked and mysterious, demands attention with a wait. The focus shifts to the cloaked figure, their attire hinting at a past of battles and stories untold. With a sense of urgency, the cloaked figure questions, "Just because the requester died, you're going to receive your reward and leave?" Clearly, this is not how they envisioned things going. The dark-haired figure, sounding almost amused, questions the other's motives. "Do you want the request to be fulfilled? How strange." The plot thickens. With a tone of warning, the dark-haired figure hints at consequences. Standing tall and defiant, an armored figure vows that he won't let the unholy, soulless one have his way. It's a face-off, and the air is thick with tension. The shadowy figure, with a calm confidence, claims he will defeat his opponent. The stage is set against a fiery sunset, as a blonde knight points his sword at his foe, determined to stand his ground. The blonde knight accuses the shadowy figure of using a sword that has witnessed injustice, yet remains silent. The shadowy figure, face partially concealed, remains unfazed, as if the accusation doesn't touch him. The knight finds the situation sad even for his opponent. His face, a mix of anger and sorrow, tells a story of internal conflict and regret. Images flash through the knight's mind. A woman and child, vulnerable and scared. A young woman, battered but defiant. They seem to question his anger. Who's it really aimed at? Overwhelmed, the knight questions what the shadowy figure knows. His voice, "Do you know the constellations of the night sky? The names and the myths entwined with them?" These words hang in the air as the scene opens with a shadowy figure, sparking curiosity about what tales the stars might tell. Standing under a burning sky, two warriors meet in silence. Their armor gleams as they exchange a wordless glance, the tension between them almost tangible. One of the warriors, his face obscured, breaks the silence. "Why bring that up now? What do you want to say?" he asks, his voice carrying a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The conversation takes a philosophical turn. Humans may see the same thing, but they feel something different, the first speaker muses, suggesting that our perceptions shape our reality. With arms crossed, the second warrior gazes skyward, lost in thought. His silhouette against the twilight speaks of contemplation and inner conflict. The stars come alive, forming the shape of a mythic archer. It's as if the heavens are weaving a story of their own, hinting at legendary tales and forgotten heroes. To some, one may look like the protagonist of a myth, but to others, he might be nothing more than a faint, pale light flickering in the darkness. These words echo the theme of perception and legacy. As the conversation deepens, one warrior notes how the sight of them being ravaged may appear different to you compared to the eyes of other soldiers, a chilling reminder of the horrors of war. The dialogue continues. Compared to the eyes of other soldiers, the speaker says, emphasizing the unique perspective each individual holds. Before a hanged figure, one warrior reaches out, his expression unreadable. The scene is heavy with unspoken words and haunting memories. The final reflection. "No, it is no different," the warrior concludes, suggesting that despite differing views, some truths remain unchanged. With a swift motion, the warrior draws his... Our story takes a dramatic turn as we glimpse into a character's thoughts. His eyes are shadowed with regret as he admits, "Because I couldn't do anything." The weight of his past failures hangs heavy in the air. Next, we see a knight, cloaked in a striking blue garment, standing against a fiery sunset. Though his face is obscured, the determination in his stance is clear as day. In a solemn moment, the knight clutches his sword, declaring his role as a knight of the king's church. Duty-bound, he reveres those with the divine king's bloodline, setting the stage for an age-old conflict. The scene shifts, and we catch a glimpse of another character's face, half hidden in shadow. His eyes suggest a burden, a promise to uphold. Reverence and responsibility weigh heavily on him. Our mysterious archer enters the fray, face masked and looking like a rogue with a heart. Despite the tension, he declares, "I do not wish to fight you, Holy Knight. Peace before battle? That's new. The archer, standing firm, implies a backstory involving a girl, a sense of empathy woven into his words. His stance is resolute, yet there's a hint of vulnerability. With a swift motion, the archer cuts through the tension, metaphorically and literally. Ropes fly, and we are left wondering about the fate of the bound figure. In a surprising twist, the archer declares the knight's sword as no enemy, hinting at unexpected camaraderie. Peaceful solutions in a world of swords? Intriguing. In a powerful image, the archer holds a battered figure, showing care and resolve. The knight stands in the background, his stance suggesting a grudging respect. The knight's silent gaze speaks volumes. Words aren't needed when actions have already painted the picture. The sunset glow adds a touch of melancholy. The scene closes with a close-up of another character's determined visage, jaw set, eyes focused. The scene is set under a shroud of mystery, as our protagonist, with his face partially obscured by shadows, stands silently. His presence is heavy, almost as if he's been through some serious business. Close up on his armored hand, clenched in a fist around a sword. You can feel the intensity, like he's ready to throw down at any moment. The view shifts to show more of the mysterious figure, his grip on the sword hilt firm, his intentions unclear. There is a dramatic pause as the sword is drawn, slicing through the air with a silent promise of action. Enter our second character, a masked warrior with dark hair and a serious vibe. He's got that "don't mess with me" look on lock. Both warriors are shown kneeling on the ground, heads bowed as if in deep contemplation or prayer, the world around them eerily still. The camera pulls back to reveal the two figures kneeling in silence, the night surrounding them with a sense of solemnity. An imposing dark monolith looms in the background, its presence adding an air of mystery and foreboding to the scene. A prayer drifts on the night air, invoking the archangel of wisdom, courage, and mercy, seeking divine intervention. "Have mercy on their souls," the prayer concludes, leaving a haunting echo in the quiet night. The final image shows both characters standing solemnly by two freshly made graves, marked by crosses, each silently. Under the vast night sky, our story unfolds with two figures in a deep conversation. One of them wonders aloud about a man from the Herald Clan wielding the rescuer's order's prayer. Quite the enigma, isn't it? The intrigue escalates as one of them admits, with a grin wide enough to catch flies, "I like their ideology." Now that's a plot twist if I've ever seen one. The other character isn't too impressed, labeling this ideology-loving fellow as reckless and brazen. Harsh, but maybe there's some truth in it. We get a closer look at this mysterious character, whose armor and resolve are as sharp as his jawline. He's clearly a man on a mission, despite the blurry face. His mission? To ditch the destiny of his birth clan for the so-called faith of heresy. Talk about a career change. The mysterious one continues, stating, "If I don't uphold what I believe is right," leaving us hanging on his every word. He concludes with a dramatic flair, "My birth will have no meaning." Someone's been reading too much philosophy. The conversation takes a curious turn as the question arises, what do you like about the rescuer's order? It's the million-dollar question. The night is alive with tension as the two stand in the moonlight, the mysterious characters, cape fluttering like a dramatic Hollywood entrance. In a swift motion, the mysterious character starts fiddling with his belt, causing quite the stir. Is he reaching for a weapon, or just adjusting his fashion statement? With a gasp, the other demands, "What are you?" leaving us all on the edge of our seats. The scene ends with a tense silence, the mysterious character's hand still on his belt. Whatever he's planning, it's sure to shake things up. The night is thick with tension as our masked archer, sporting dark hair and a mysterious vibe, draws his bow. He whispers to his companion from that direction, while both seem to be waiting for something big to go down. Close up on the archer and his buddy as they clutch their bows tight. The atmosphere is thick with anticipation. Someone important is coming, and they better be ready for it. Suddenly, the scene cuts to a figure with blurred features, clearly taken by surprise. The sense of impending confrontation is palpable. Zoom out to reveal an army of soldiers marching with purpose. Their leader, a figure on horseback, looks towards our duo with a confident smirk. The soldiers, like a sea of armor, move in unison, painting a picture of power and intimidation. Our mysterious leader, with a grin that could outshine the moon, beckons, "Come on now." It's clear this encounter is far from friendly. With a sinister edge, the leader teases about a farmer woman, suggesting there's more to this story than meets the eye. The plot thickens, folks. Returning to the leader on horseback, framed by a backdrop of soldiers, the stakes are higher than ever. This ain't your average countryside visit. The leader's words echo. I gotta say, she was hella fine for a commoner. As we switch back to our masked duo, bracing for the challenge ahead. The revelation hits hard. The masked figure's ally realizes the leader has figured out their secret. They took care of the girl. Things are heating up. Our duo quickly assesses the situation. 20 heavily armed soldiers stand between them and safety. It's about to get real. The tension is palpable as we dive into this scene where a mysterious figure, shrouded in armor and mystery, stands before a group of stoic knights. With a somber declaration, this enigmatic character admits, even for me, I have no chance of winning. The weight of the situation is heavy, and the knights in their formidable armor seem like an impenetrable wall. As we pan down, we see the mysterious figure holding the reins of a horse, their attire as intricate as their predicament. The atmosphere is thick with anticipation and uncertainty, hinting at an impending confrontation. This person is definitely at the center of something big. Suddenly, the scene shifts as the mysterious figure, amidst the tension, mutters, by the way. But before we can catch a break, the question hangs in the air. Who the hell is that bastard? The air is electric, and we're left wondering just who has caught this mysterious figure's attention. The camera cuts to an archer readying an arrow with precision and skill that would make even Robin Hood nod in approval. The archer's companion, cloaked and equally mysterious, watches as the bowstring is pulled back, the tension in the air building to a crescendo. In a flurry of motion, the arrow is released, the sound of its flight slicing through the night air like a whisper of doom. The archer's aim is true, and we see the arrow flying toward its target with a deadly intent. The arrow finds its mark among the knights, piercing through the helm of an unsuspecting soldier. The red streak of the arrow's flight path is a vivid slash against the dark backdrop of the night, leaving a trail of shock and chaos in its wake. As the knights are struck by the deadly arrow, the chaos intensifies. The scene is a blur of confusion as they scramble, the red line of the arrow's path a stark reminder of the danger they face. The chaos reaches a fever pitch as we see the arrow's devastating impact. The knights are caught in the maelstrom of battle, each trying to make sense of the sudden and vicious attack. One of the knights, now with an arrow embedded in his helmet, stands in shock, his expression frozen in a mix of surprise and realization. The arrow has found its mark, and the scene is painted with the grim reality of battle. A pained groan escapes the lips of the struck knight, his hand reflexively reaching up to the arrow that has found its mark. The gravity of the situation, the scene is set on a dark, stormy night where a group of soldiers, faces hidden beneath their hoods, gather under the relentless rain. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation as they face an unseen threat. Amidst the soldiers, confusion erupts as one of them falls, struck by an unseen force. The source of the attack remains a mystery, adding to the tension. In the pouring rain, an ominous silhouette emerges, exuding a sense of dread. The details are obscured, but the threat is clear. A voice narrates the impressive skill of an archer who, against all odds, lands a precise shot on a distant soldier. The feat seems almost impossible, yet it's executed with ease. Finally, we meet our mysterious archer, a cool and collected figure with dark hair and a sharp gaze. His armor gleams under the dim light, and he prepares another arrow with unwavering focus. The archer, fully suited in sleek black armor with intricate designs, stands tall. His confidence is evident as he draws his bow, ready to unleash his next attack. With a swift motion, the archer releases his arrow, sending it soaring through the air with blinding speed. The action unfolds in a blur of motion, emphasizing the sheer velocity and power behind the shot. The arrow continues its trajectory, cutting through the air like a streak of light. Its path is unhindered, demonstrating the archer's unmatched skill. The arrow's journey is relentless, unstoppable, as it approaches its target with deadly precision. The soldiers, now on high alert, brace themselves as the arrow— Yo, so check this out. We've got a strong hand clutching a metal bar, setting the stage for some serious action. It's like the calm before the storm, you know? Then, bam! We've got this shadowy figure, all blurred out, looking super intense. You can just feel something big is about to happen. Next, there's this crazy sound effect, like something just went down. It's loud, it's intense, and it's got everyone on edge. Suddenly, a massive piece of armor or shield crashes to the ground with a thud. You can almost feel the ground shake from the impact. Meanwhile, our helmeted hero is looking rough, sweat pouring down his face as he lets out a painful ugh. This battle's no joke. The scene shifts, and we see a wounded soldier, bleeding on the ground, surrounded by armored fighters. It's not looking good for him. Up above, soldiers are looking around, clearly shocked by something. It's like they've just seen a ghost or something. Then there's talk about an arrow piercing through a shield, like it's some kind of magical trick shot. This arrow's got skills. The arrow's described as curving like a snake, adding to the mystery. What kind of archer can pull off a shot like that? Finally, we've got some dialogue going on about the rescuer's order. It's like they're having a deep conversation amidst all the chaos. I liked the idea that a person's worth is determined, not by their birth, but by their beliefs and actions. In the vast, starry sky, a figure stands with a bow, silhouetted against the night. This figure embodies the belief that what defines us is not where we come from, but what we stand for. Just like how someone born with the blood of the divine king, who rapes and massacres his people. This stark contrast is laid out as the image of a new character with white hair emerges, visibly enraged, teeth gritted in fury. You cannot be considered noble. The night sky echoes this truth, an arrow pulled taut, ready to unleash its own form of justice. With a swift release, the arrow cuts through the night, aimed with precision and purpose. A voice, dripping with venom, screams in rage, "You son of a bitch!" The red backdrop matches the fiery anger emanating from the white-haired character, words piercing like daggers. Blood spatters, a silent testament to the chaotic confrontation as the red backdrop continues to pulse with intensity. The page ends with the quiet aftermath, a sea of red descending